These Blizzaks doing some serious work. Yeah, he's got 80,000 pounds in that thing, and no one can tow him. Welcome back, I'm Tedward. Welcome to a snowy start to 2024. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the 2011 Volvo C30. It's a T5, it has a 2.5 liter 5-cylinder turbo. It's a front-wheel drive platform, and this is the cutest, coolest, sportiest Volvo, if we do say so ourselves, that you can get in the modern era, but I guess they don't make it anymore. But still, this has a little cult following around it. It's essentially an S40 with a shorter butt, and it has all of the fixings of a cool Swedish brick. Now, there are some impracticalities with the car. Number one, though, it's really cool because it's 5-cylinder, has 227 horsepower. It looks the business, and it's kind of quick, but even better, it sounds really good. This is a facelift version. We are on snow tires, Blizzak WS90s. I'm trying to get through this quick because it is very cold. But one of the downfalls of this car being a coupe is the size of these doors. They're so long. So it is actually a little inconvenient and impractical because A, they're heavy. Oh, boo-hoo, you'll figure it out. But B, when you're parking, sometimes you have to really slither out the side. But the best part about this car is the rear, because this is a glass hatch. Check this out. This is reminiscent of the P1800 ES, and what a wild thing for them to actually put into production. But you do have practical space. Look at this. You've got only room for 4 people. There is no middle seat in the rear, but you can lay those flat and put a ton of stuff in it, which we're about to do, honestly, because we're moving some stuff today. But the exhaust looks mean and killer, and I'm cold. So let's get out there. Maybe we'll do a few little slides. Oh, and as we get in, I feel like I'm in a cozy little Volvo cocoon. Now, look, I grew up in Volvos. I grew up in a 740. Those were the days. You had an inline engine with a transmission and a drive shaft and rear wheel drive. My father would never have bought an 850 those days. That was the end of Volvo as far as he was concerned. But the cult of Volvo continued, and there is a lot of people who love an 850. There's a lot of people who love all of the T5 versions, and they're not wrong, because this is really cool. These only came in front-wheel drive, Dana.
Yep.
You could not get the all-wheel drive. However, you could swap it. So if you're like a real clever Volvo dude, you take some stuff out of the S40, finagle its way in, and boom, now you can make some big power crazy thing if you need your C30 to be that. Got heated seats. You don't need the big one. This is Dana, by the way.
Hello.
You met Dana in the cabriolet video in Maine, and this car is just wild because it's all little quirky things. So like when you turn this on, you get high performance sound with a little image of the C30 in like the most pixelated Nintendo sort of way. I think is really fun. It has a check engine light. We've got an O2 sensor that's just a little wonky, not a big deal. It has 156,000 miles on it, so we can forgive some of its faults. But today it's snowy. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. And we're just gonna go take it out for a ride. We have a 6-speed manual transmission. I've been letting it warm up. Maybe we'll do like a proper little startup on it later, but you know, for the sake of just treating it right and getting the temps up, we're gonna run it. So let's get down this parking garage and see what we get. Here, you hold that. All right, where is the traction control?
So to get to traction control in this car, see the scroll wheel on the left stock?
Come on, really?
Yeah, you're gonna scroll through the menu until you get to the DSTC menu.
Scroll wheel on the left stock. I'm gonna scroll through until I see the DSTC.
Yep,
okay.
Press and hold the select button in the middle of the stock. There you go.
And that's it. It's
yes.
off. Okay. Kind of shocked there's no sunroof in here.
Yeah, well, so a lot of them come with it, but it's not a desirable option because of the fact that they leak very, very commonly.
WS90 is doing us all of the favors. And let's see, maybe we'll just come up here for a quick second. Get our first 2024 slides in, even though we're just in a little rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive guy. And we'll just spin her. Let's go, little girl.
She's trying.
Gaining some traction. All right, so you can still have fun in your thing. How do I turn that fan down? There we go, I got it. Okay. In terms of practicality, let's see how much we can fit in the back of a C30. So I told you, the seats fold down, And we start getting it. Look at the little. Oh, all right. I thought it was a kitten. It's OSX Snowline.
No.
Snow Leopard. That's funny. Look at that.
I could fit. I should have brought a couple more boxes.
I mean, maybe, but here, let's see if this is even gonna close.
Really
this has a little bit of an angle, but we'll see. Oh, baby. That's it.
Light work.
We're all packed up. I still have visibility. Now, one of the downfalls of that awesome glass hatch is the fact that you're in a low car, and anytime anyone's behind you in like a modern car, especially an SUV, they're blaring those headlights through the car, and it really sucks. But here's something interesting about this car, and I'm sorry I have the wheel in an improper position for this startup sequence, but when you start the car, first, this key is some goofy stuff, okay? It's huge, it's a giant fob, and it's very cheap, and it's kind of silly because you're like, man, if you're gonna give me a big honking key, you might as well make it like some big fancy thing like the old Aston Martins with the crystals. But I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying make it small if you have to. But in here goes there. I always don't go in all the way. All right, turn. Now this is the cool thing, I don't have to hold it when I try to start it. I can just go and boom, we have jumped to life. So it's kind of unnecessary to even have this whole assembly here. This could have been like a key in and a button, but I understand they were going for something. It's Volvo. Of course, it's going to be like a little bit strange, a little bit off. Now, because we've restarted the car, we're going to have to turn traction back off. Now, I'm not doing this because I'm like some fancy pants dude who's just like, oh, I need to be braking traction. But in the snow, I do like the ability to spin the tires a little bit because it allows you to evacuate tread. And if it's just holding you back, sometimes it just gets a little dicey. It's not my favorite thing. Now, this is more important for like a rear wheel drive car than a front wheel drive car, just because in a front wheel drive car, spinning tires means understeer, but you know, we can work our way through it. So let's work our way out of the city of Lowell, the safe, beautiful, incredible city of Lowell, old mill town. So we're gonna go that way, right? And are we heading toward like 495?
Yeah, well, if you want to get on the highway, we'll take the left here, and if you want to take Route 40, little windy back road, we're gonna go straight at the light.
Okay, we'll go straight at the light, I suppose.
Gotcha.
Now, it has just enough ground clearance. Also, today, it's one of those days where, like, the snow, thankfully, is pretty soft. But what's scary about having a low car is, like, up there, I see a giant snowbank. Like, I can't go through that. That's too big, even with the powder. But if this was icy, we'd have pretty much no shot at some of these intersections. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this side because that is like possible stuckness. And even though I'm in the wrong lane, I'm gonna work my way through here safely. And this is where bending the rules just a little bit in the snow makes for safer action. Snow tires. We like snow tires because snow tires don't just give us forward moving traction, they give us stopping and turning abilities, because I don't want to kill a pedestrian who's literally running on an icy street. Like, good for him for the fitness, but like, shame on you for assuming that the average driver in this particular city isn't going to mow you down with an Acura MDX. It's just the way it's going to go. So far, so good. And honestly, some of the snow, it's really smoothed out the potholes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the nicest drive through Lowell we've had in a while. I just watched a kid get obliterated with a snowball.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
That mom threw one at her kid and hit him right in the face.
That's very funny. I've already seen a couple people not be able to stop. So like, part of my defensive driving in the snow is really watching other cars and being like, are you carrying 30 miles an hour and thinking you're stopping in like, 50 feet? It ain't happening today, guys. See, this is what I mean, like, have a little wheel spin, it's fine. I don't want traction control intervening. I don't need that. I can apply the modest amount of throttle control that I need to get us off the line and moving. This shifter is so good. I think Volvo, this is like one of the most incredible things about this car, is that this gearbox is so beautifully built. It has such a luxurious shift engagement. The clutch is a little vague, but I don't know if I'm really at liberty to say that for the C30 as a whole, because this has 156,000 miles on it. Who knows what this clutch is? I mean, maybe you do, Dana, but it's like just a little bit soft. I feel like I've got to slip it a little bit more than I want to, but it's not uncomfortable or weird. Are we going straight through here?
Yeah.
Okay. And the beauty of this 2.5 liter is the fact that I have the ability to drag this at pretty low torque. It's really comfortable around town. I think this is such a nice amount of torque and power. It doesn't feel like you're cruising around in my Civic even, where in the Civic, I feel like I got to get the revs up at least over like 2,500 to feel like I'm doing it right. Whereas this car, like, I can operate at like idle basically. It's a wonderful thing. Honestly though, these Blizzaks doing some serious work. Like, they're not understeering unless I'm putting in like a shocking amount of lock. So I have no fear about staying in my own lane right now. Maybe it's because I'm on the right tires, or maybe it's because I'm a more experienced driver. But what I'm looking at in front of me is someone who is literally crossing double yellows because they're afraid in their SUV. Oh boy, your all-wheel drive SUV isn't capable in the snow. Interesting, interesting. I want to drive one of those so bad, like the double plow situation. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is stuck as gets. See, that's why you need tires.
Oh,
all
done.
4 wheels, baby. All 4 wheels. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. All right, we're going up here. Like, really, guy? Okay, so we're going up the hill?
Yes.
Well, we'll find out. Because Camry's already having trouble.
This guy in the X1 is contemplating all his life choices. X2.
We're gonna take the right line here.
Yes.
Gonna get off throttle a little bit there so we don't suck ourselves into traffic, and we're gonna hope that everyone can turn, because that's a little bit of speed that I don't like to see coming down at me. Yeah. It's funny because on video everyone's like, oh my god, it's barely moving, they're just complaining about everything. It's like, no dude, you don't understand how like little it takes for a 5,000-pound truck to just understeer when it's not on like the right tires or something, you know? I've got a Ram truck behind me right now, and I am eye level with the headlights. Like, he don't stop, we toast, baby. In Canada, you've got to put snow tires on, like, well, most places in Canada at least, like, it's like a law. It's like between this month and this month, you got to be on snows. That is not the case in America. Massachusetts, like, we get weather like this. People can still drive, even if they're on, like, yep, they passed inspection on their PS4Ss, their Cup 2s, you know, like, you're entitled to give it a shot. It's totally crazy. I do love watching, I mean, it's a little sketchy just looking at all of the branches that are like imminently ready to collapse on us, but this looks so cool with all the snow on all these branches and trees. This is exactly the review of the C30 that you've been imagining me do, right? So I love this because you can like just push a little bit, get the rear end just to step out a tiny bit on that, but like it's a really stable platform. It's nice. I think that's one of the other things. Like, sure, we're kind of like just crawling around doing our thing, but you get a vibe for how balanced a chassis is when you put it into an uncoordinated kind of event. And is the tail just gonna step out from you? And in this car, I don't think so. Like, I feel like you'd have to be like really aggressive with some trail braking or like violent liftoff oversteer to get the tail to come out in a corner. It seems like it's a planted car. It seems like it definitely wants to push long before it wants to let that rear step out.
You can get it to step out if you lift off in like some pretty hard and spirited cornering, but overall, it's like super rigid. It reminds me of my old SPT Focus, and that's why I like it.
After we see this guy, I'm gonna do just like a little brake test just to see where we're at with the traction levels. And downhill as well. Yeah, this is great. This is great.
That's pretty impressive.
We've got what we need. Oh yeah. The steering feel in this car is phenomenal. I think I get a lot of texture from the road through my fingertips. You know, I feel everything that's going on. Very helpful, especially in these conditions. A numb steering rack in low grip and traction scenarios is very disconcerting and makes it a lot harder to drive. It's making it very easy to just jump in this car, know what's going on at all times. and make some fun 5-cylinder noises. Probably not used to braking traction in third, are you?
You can trip it when it's a little damp out, but that's about all she wrote.
I love the way this turbo comes on because it doesn't just like hit. It actually is pretty progressive and smooth, and I like that. Got a little bit of lock and just sliding around, but we're moving. There's a white GX behind us. That seems like the vehicle we maybe should be in, but for reasons that I will maybe explain later, it's why we're not in that vehicle.
That guy's carrying some speed.
Yeah, we're just plowing.
Public service.
But I'm looking at this is slick. Like I'm gonna have to carry like a tiny bit of momentum, but like you can't get on throttle or else you plow. You're going straight. So no, we're doing all right. We're fine. And now we're encountering, the typical C30 issue is just headlights blaring through that glass. Just not the best. So that's like something to take into consideration. If that does bother you, this could be not the best vehicle for your sanity. Gonna hang here. I like this. It's funny, the GX is following me. I'm like, bro, you've got like 8.5 inches of ground clearance. I'm doing this because I just don't want to like rip the front lip off of the car, but like on a blind crest I'm gonna have to. So that's the sound of, I think we entered a different town with a higher plowing budget.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we're about to. And it's Groton, so yeah, a higher plowing budget. There has been an event, and all I see... Well, so the question is someone stuck on the hill? Or is there like a tree down? And what I don't want is if the hill, this is like off-roading, right? What you don't want to do when you're off-roading is like crowd the guy in front of you who needs the ability to back down the obstacle. And if whatever reason, like I think these trucks are good, I just want to make sure that guy is good. Because like if that like bus-looking thing can't get back down if he needs to, like I don't want to be sitting here. Yeah. Luckily, we have we're fine. Like I'm pretty confident we're climbing this hill, no problems, but oh, he's an Amazon truck. He's too heavy and he cannot get up this hill. It is a little slick. But we're just going to carry some momentum. And I bet that thing's like, yeah, he's got 80,000 pounds in that thing. He ain't going nowhere and no one can tow him. Unless it's like one of those memes where you show like a WRX that's just like, oh, I got it. And
light work.
But our trusty hot boy Volvo soldiers on. So that's like the first little taste of just some fun snow stuff in the C30 T5, the facelift version. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We're going right. Don't forget to respect the drive. Ooh, slippy. Come on. There we go. And I'll see you in the next one. Oh, let's climb this hill. That's good.